And from John Legend, we're going on into the next phase of GarageBand. And to do that, we're going to click New Project right here. And you'll see that there are several options. There is, of course, the empty project. Then there's the keyboard collection, the amp collection, the voice, the hip hop, the electronic, and the songwriter. We'll go into some of those a little later on. First, we're just going to start with empty project, which you can click. There's some other things down here, as you can see. There's tempo. We're just going to leave that like it is. Key signature, C major, we'll leave that. Time signature, 4/4, we'll leave that. Input device gives you the option to change the input device that you're using. I'm using the Blue Snowball, the USB mic right now. If I were using the microphone that's in my computer, I would switch it to built-in mic. And then, of course, the output device, I'm temporarily using something from ScreenFlow, something a little different, so don't worry about that for right now. But click on Empty Project, and then click Choose. And you'll see another screen that pops up that gives us some options of a software instrument, a couple of different things of audio, and a drummer. And it'll also give us, if you click on audio, you'll see that this box down here opens to give us some other options. We're not going to worry about those right now. At the moment, we're going to click on software instrument, and we're going to hit create. And let me get rid of that for the moment, and we'll talk about that keyboard in just a minute. But for the moment, I want to take a look at the main screen of GarageBand, and there are a number of things here that you need to take a look at. And the first thing we're going to look at is all of this stuff that goes across the top of the screen. These are controls of various and assorted kinds. This first box basically opens and closes the library. And this is the library right here, this part right down here. So that if you click this, it'll go away and it'll give you more real estate, more screen space that you can use. This one is the most annoying thing, the quick help button. If you click that, you'll notice that all these little yellow boxes pop up all over the place. That might be beneficial to you when you first start, but after a while, all these little boxes just get really, really, really annoying. So we're going to leave that one off. This box right here, it's called Smart Controls, and it either makes, down here at the bottom, it either makes this box appear or disappear. Once again, to give yourself some more screen space. If you have a whole lot of tracks going on, you might need that space down here more than you need the controls for each individual track. And we'll talk more about that later. Anytime you see scissors in the world of any kind of editing program, it simply means edit. So if we were to click that, then you'll see an edit box pops up. And once again, we'll talk about that a lot more too as we move along. This part right here is called the transport. If it looks familiar, it's because it's really similar to the transport on everything else that you have. It's rewind, fast forward, go all the way to the beginning, play, record. And this, in GarageBand, we call it cycle, but it's also sometimes called loop. And you can tell anytime you put your cursor over anything in GarageBand, a little box will come up to tell you what it is and what it's for. This right here is an LCD readout, and it has a lot of different purposes, and I'll talk about those a little bit later too. This one right here is grayed out right now. This is a tuner, the same tuner that we saw just a minute ago. It only works when you have a guitar plugged in. It doesn't work any other time. This box is count off and click, the 1, 2, 3, 4 at the beginning. If that's blue, just to show you what I mean, if we're recording, We click record. If you hear it, it did 4 clicks before it started moving, before the timeline here started moving. So it gave you 4 clicks before you started recording. And then this one right here that looks like a little metronome is just the click, so that you can turn the click on or you can turn the click off. So right now the click is on. Now it's off, it's gone away. So if you don't need it, you don't use it, but most of the time you need it at the beginning anyway when you first start. This is the master volume right here, very easy to control. And these are some little things over here that are very interesting or useful. Sometimes they're useful. If you click this one, it's a notepad so that you can take notes as you go along if you want to. You'll find that useful, particularly if you're using a lot of tracks and doing a lot of different takes on tracks. This one that looks like a loop, it is because it is a loop. It gives you an option of a lot of different loops that you can use. These loops, by the way, are free. You may use them anytime that you would like. They're royalty free, so that you don't have to pay Apple for use of them. So feel free to make use of them any way you can. We'll go into more detail later. And this one is basically a little version of the Finder. It lets you find all of the stuff that's in your computer that you can use later on for whatever you want to use it for, to put into your programs to use, to work with. See, we're going to make that go away for right now because we don't need it. Now we're going to take a look at the good stuff down here. This is where we really, really, really need to get busy. This is called a track. And if you want more tracks, there's only one there to start with, but if you want more tracks, all you have to do is click the plus box. And you'll see you'll get this same box back again. And one more time, we're going to click the software instrument and click choose. And you'll see that there is yet another track right here. We'll get rid of well, let's leave the library there because we're going to need that in just a minute. The default track is always classic electric piano. That's the first thing that you're going to hear. Now, how do we make sounds? Well, we can do a couple of different ways. We can plug a keyboard into the computer, but I don't happen to have that right at the moment, so we're going to use Command K. And you'll see that this little keyboard pops up right here. And it actually makes sounds. And that sounds like an electric piano. But you'll also notice on this keyboard it has ASD. Those are not the names of the notes. Those are names of the keys on your keypad on your computer. So for example, if I were to hit the A and D, I would be hitting the C and E. And if I wanted to make a chord, I could do that. And I could play pretty much anything I want to just using the keyboard on my computer. I can also use this keyboard by clicking right here. I can create a little point and click kind of a keyboard too, and you can slide this up and down to get into whatever octave you want to get into when you're doing it. We're going to go back to this one right now. You can do the same thing, by the way. You can move it up and down to whatever octave you want to play in. So that could be important. So the A is a C, the W is a C sharp. If you go up, the notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Same, repeat over and over again. There's only 8 notes. This would be C sharp or D flat, D sharp or E flat, F sharp or G flat, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat. I know most of you are probably not musicians and probably have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's fine. Don't worry about it for right now. You don't have to have any real musical skills to do this, so don't worry about that, and just play with it for right now, and we'll go from there with it. But what I do want to show you is, if we don't like the electric piano sound, well, we can change it to anything that we want to change it to. There's not a whole lot of piano sounds that come built into this program, but if you want to change it to a Steinway Grand, if you look here now, all of a sudden it says Steinway Grand. And you can see there's a difference. Now, if we don't want it to be, if we want it to make a completely different sound, let's say we want a synthesizer, and I have no idea what these synthesizers actually sound like. But you can change it to any sound that you want it to sound like. And if you get too far over down here, all you have to do is just put 2 fingers on your trackpad and move it on over. If we want to use a B3 organ or any kind of organ, so you can make pretty much any sound that you want to. If you want to download a whole bunch of more sounds, you're welcome to do that. Anytime you see, I think I've already downloaded them onto here, or maybe, yeah, no, I haven't. Anytime you see grayed out stuff like this, if you want to download them, all you have to do is click on it. It'll give you an option to download. It's several gigabytes of sound. Most of them are free, so feel free to go ahead and download them if you want to use them. Just takes up space on your computer. If that's not a problem for you, then go ahead and download anything and everything that you want to download. You might as well, if it's free, go ahead and enjoy it.